The Street Files, a complete mystery short story, every Wednesday. File 46, A Body in the Vineyard. After a week in Sardinia, Olivia and Poppy Street spend their last morning on the beach, then eat whatever's in the fridge for lunch, and get their Mini Cooper hire car on the road from the southern region of the island to Porto Torres on the northern coast. Their large yellow ferry pulls away from the dockside just after 8 in the evening. Then they eat fritto misto and ravioli del plin in the restaurant before they take their drinks up on deck and watch the sun go down over the sea. The boat docks in Toulon by breakfast, and Olivia takes a route that hugs the coast past Marseille and Montpellier, before cutting inland at Narbonne on the western side of France. The journey takes all day, after a lunch stop at Toulouse. Half an hour after Bordeaux, Olivia turns off the highways and into the country roads near the town of Jonzac. Around them are fields of grapes as they drive on. Eventually, she turns in through an ancient limestone wall that surrounds a 3-story caramel and umber chateau. The 400-year-old main house has long and low buildings connected to it that create a square courtyard that was the hub of an active vineyard here for centuries, before conversion into luxury holiday apartments. Olivia has arranged with 2 sets of friends to stay in the accommodation this week, as an escape from the hubbub of modern life, as they'll be surrounded by the rolling flat Charente-Maritime fields that stretch out into the distance in all directions. When they get out of the car, Olivia and Poppy walk across to the main doors of the chateau, as instructed in the confirmation email when they booked. There's a large iron bell pull embedded in the wall, and Olivia tugs it downward. They wait in the light air of the afternoon, and can hear footsteps after a moment that gradually get nearer. A man opens the door, who is in his 40s, with sandy-coloured hair and pale blue eyes. "Monsieur Bonnet," says Olivia. "At your service, madame." "We're Olivia and Poppy Street. We're booked into the Chalet Colbert." "Yes, I have the keys. One moment." Bonnet slips away, then returns a moment later with 2 sets of keys, and holds them out to her. "Everything is in there, madame. You ordered a food box, which will be in the cupboards and the fridge. Have a good week. If you need me, I'm here. Or call the number on the email." "Merci, monsieur," she says, and they all smile at each other. The apartment is set across one corner of the square. There's a pool on the outside and large bedrooms with bright white linen, huddled together on the inside. "We're the first to arrive, by the look of it," says Olivia, as they recover their suitcases from the car and wheel them to their rooms. The mother and daughter take drinks out to the poolside. That has a view of the long driveway from the road. "I haven't seen the kids in these families for ages," says Poppy, as they sit and dangle their feet in the water. "How did you meet the parents?" "What's interesting is these 2 couples are so different. Diametrically opposed, you might say. One is a pair of scientists, and one is a pair of artists." "Logic and creativity, I like that. The 2 sides of life," says Poppy. "We know the Percys because I knew Robin Percy from a legal job 3 years ago," says Olivia. "He's a research scientist. My job there lasted 6 months, and he introduced me to his wife Laura, who's a data analyst, and worked there too. We ended up having those family Sunday lunches when you were about 15, and you met their son Ben." Poppy nods. "And the arty ones, the Marlowes? How do you know them?" "Emma Marlowe's a client. She's a theatre producer. Alec, her husband, is a set designer. And you know their kids very well, Neve and Edward." "Yeah, Neve went to my school." The sound of 2 engines rolls up from the gates 50 yards away, and they both look up. "Here they all are," says Olivia, and 2 identical blue BMW X5s hurry up the road towards them. There's an hour of greetings, chatter, key collecting and transferring of people and belongings from cars to bedrooms, as the all-fair-haired Percy family and the all-dark-haired Marlowes settle in. The adults all agreed to have a barbecue on the land by the pool, as there's an old brick griddle near the fence line, and Monsieur Bonnet, from the chateau, has provided charcoal. The children swim and the adults cook, and everyone talks about their lives. Olivia walks across to Emma and refills her glass with Sauvignon. "How did you find this place, Emma?" she says, to the dark-haired mother. "Alex has been here before on design sessions. When he has a large set to create, he likes to get away, so comes here. And he stays for 6 weeks in the winter when there's snow, for as far as you can see. He came here as a boy, too. He loves the whole place." "Are you talking about me?" says Alec, walking over. "We were. What do you like about it here?" says Olivia. "Freedom, space, and light," he says. "Away from it all, away from modern life. It's been like this here for hundreds of years. You could have stood here in 1526, and it would have looked about the same." "Apart from the pool?" says Emma, smiling. But he doesn't echo it, and after a moment, Alec pretends to see something of interest somewhere else, and he walks off. "He's stressed," says Emma. "Too much work?" "No, not enough. He's a freelance. I've got a 3-year contract as an artistic director at the local arts centre, so I have a regular income. But he's struggled over the last year to get the sort of scale of work he likes. He hates me winning." She smiles again. "He also doesn't see eye to eye with Laura." Emma nods upwards to the blonde-haired mother, talking to the children in the pool. "So he's not looking forward to a week with her." "Why don't they get on?" says Olivia. "Don't know, really," says Emma. "I asked him, but he was vague. Something happened, I think. She said something or did something, I don't know. I gave up caring about it in the end. If he wants to be a schoolboy and have a sulk, then that's his responsibility, not mine. The weakness of marrying a creative, I suppose." Alec reaches the poolside and stands next to Laura. After a moment she looks at him. "You all right?" she says. He nods and grunts. "What's the matter?" "Spending a week here with you, when you're so close, and we can't be together. I'm not looking forward to it. I wish you and I could get away, just the two of us." He nearly smiles. "Not possible, Alec. You know what Robin's like, always watching me. We can only meet when we do, because I contrive a day working at home once a fortnight." "I want to see you this week," he says. "You can see me now." She smiles. "You know what I mean." "Too risky," she says. "Forget it." His eyes roll with an emotion she can't identify. "This could be our life together, places like this," he says. "You should come out here with me. I use it as a getaway. I know old man Bonnet very well in the big house. He does a deal on the price for me. I'm here for all of September. You could come out too for a week. Tell Robin your mother's ill or something. She lives in the Lake District, doesn't she? And your kids will be back at uni by then." Laura's getting frustrated and has to take a swig of wine to give her a breathing space. She pauses and then says, "That's not what I want." "What do you want then?" he says. "Why are we sleeping together at all?" She has to use all of her willpower not to throw the wine in his face, and she rolls her closed lips inward. Robin walks up to them from his attending the barbecue. "The kids love this," he says. "We should get a pool. We could fit one in down the side. Cut a few trees back." He looks at Laura for her agreement, but she says, "I'd rather go away somewhere that has a pool like this." Robin nods vaguely and walks back to turn the food over in the fire. "Will you leave him?" says Alec. "No." "Why?" She turns to him and pauses again, then says, "That's not what I want." When the food is ready, they all eat by the water in old and mismatching chairs that have been left by people over the years from different eras of the past. They all talk until the sun goes down over the fields. Slowly the food, plates and glasses are cleared away, until there's no evidence that the barbecue ever took place here tonight. And gradually they decide to turn in for the night, as they're tired after a day of travel. The people scatter to their luxury apartments that have been forged out of the workrooms that had created wine here for 500 years. Then peace descends across the old vineyard. The moon is full tonight, and it casts long shadows from a cloudless black sky. At 1 a.m, Neve's phone lights up on her bedside cabinet, when her brother Edward sends a message saying, 5 minutes downstairs. The dark-haired children pull in their clothes and silently open the latches to their bedroom doors. Before they tiptoe down the old staircase, they reach the front door to their apartment and slip out into the night. Fair-haired Ben is waiting in the moonlight. Then Poppy appears too, and the four of them take off out of the courtyard and jump the short walls that lead to the fields beyond. A few miles from the chateau they reach a set of streams and watercourses on the outskirts of the ancient town of Pont, and they find a place to stop by the water. Edward has a backpack, and he swings it off and unzips it, then hands out cans of drink and snacks. The teenagers sit and talk and eat. "My dad showed me this place," says Edward. "He's down in this area a couple of times a year. Comes for his freedom." Edward holds up his fingers in quote marks as he says the last word. "Mum hates it here." "Why does she hate it?" says Poppy. "The creepy guy in the main house," says Edward. "Gaston Bonnet." "He seemed all right," says Poppy. "We met him when we arrived." "He's always up to something," says Neve. "Dad's in cahoots with him. That's what Mum says." "Doing what?" The girl shrugs as she takes a swig of drink from the can. "Something dodgy, definitely," says Edward. "Have you seen the inside of the chateau?" Poppy shakes her head. "No one ever has. He never lets you in. Keeps his foot against the door to stop you from going inside." "Tain't an artist," says Ben to Poppy. "Their parents are both in the arts, living a fantasy life. My mum and dad are more realists. Numbers, sequences, all that sort of thing. It's what makes life work. Planning. You got nothing without planning." "You don't know, you've never been here before," says Neve. "We came down here last summer. I had to collect our food box from the big house, and I was walking up towards it, and he was standing by an upstairs window just looking at me." "That should have been on the news then," says Ben, mocking her. "A man looks out of a window," says our correspondent. "Your mum's not all data and logic, though, is she?" says Edward to Ben. "I've seen her with my dad. They've got a thing." "No, they haven't," says Ben. "That's your imagination again." "She likes him," says Neve, looking directly at Ben. "Shut up about it," he says, and he stands up. "Look, I'm going back. I'll see you lot in the morning." He walks off the way they all arrived, and the other three exchange wide-eyed glances. "Spiky," says Neve. It's after 2 a.m. when the three teenagers start to walk back to the vineyard. Edward is leading, and he takes them through the woodland instead of open fields, and they watch the branches swaying in the darkness above their heads until they step out of the tree line and are in the open again. The final half-mile is across the open flat land of the Charente region, in this heart of France. The moonlight is bouncing off the roadway in the night, and here there's a ditch on either side of the track to carry away spring rainwater. "What's that?" says Neve, and she points to the ditch on the left-hand side. "Something's down there. A dog, is it?" She stops and inches closer to the edge of the ditch. "No, it's a man," she says, and now the others stop too. Poppy walks across and navigates down the slope of the earth. "Stay there," she says to Neve and Edward, as they're about to step down into the ditch. Poppy goes down on her haunches to look more closely at the body. "What is it?" says Neve. After a few seconds, Poppy takes a step up, back out of the ditch. "We need my mum," she says. "Why?" says Edward. "We just do," she says. "Come on." The others stand still for a moment. Then they start to follow her. "Who is it?" says Edward. "I'm talking to my mum first," says Poppy. And they're all silent for the remaining journey back, as they can't think of another topic until this one has been explained. "You two go back to bed," says Poppy. "I'll talk to you later." She walks away to her apartment and up to Olivia's room. Her mother is asleep in the half-light that is seeping past the blind at the window. Poppy shakes her shoulder. "Mum!" Olivia blinks and squints as she wakes. "What's the matter? Are you okay?" "There's a dead man in the ditch outside." Olivia is still hazy as she wakes up. "How do you know?" "We had girl dinner outside, but with boys too," she says. "What's girl dinner?" "Oh, Grandpa would call it midnight feast," says Poppy. "Right." Olivia is more awake now. "Where's this dead man?" "Outside, in the ditch." "But, Mum, it's Alec Marlowe, Edward and Neve's dad." "Are you sure he's dead?" says Olivia. "You showed me where to put my fingers on the carotid artery." "I did. I felt nothing." "Let's have a look at him," she says, and gets out of bed. She finds leggings and a hoodie. Then the mother and daughter drop down the stairs again. "Did all four of you go out?" says Olivia. "Yes, but they've gone back to bed. I told them to. They don't know it's their dad. I couldn't tell them that." Olivia hugs her daughter. "That was the right thing to do. Come on." They step out into the night, and Poppy leads them the half-mile along the moonlit road, surrounded by fields and silence. They step down into the ditch, and Olivia repeats what her daughter did to test for signs of life. "You're right, he's dead," she says. "Shine your phone down here, can you?" Poppy pulls out her mobile and plays the torch app onto Alex's body. Olivia leans in and visually inspects the corpse more closely, without touching him so as to not destroy DNA evidence. "He's been strangled," she says. "A thin wire, abrasions on his cheek and neck. A fight by the look of it. Move it down a bit." Poppy shifts the light. "Oh, and he has a deep wound on his leg. That may be the cause of death. There's a lot of blood in the earth underneath him. The attacker may have hit the femoral artery." They walk back up out of the ditch. "Let's call the gendarmes, Poppy." Within half an hour, a Renault bounces up the earth track and stops next to the corpse. A man in his 40s steps out, who has dark hair and deep green eyes. "Madame, I am Adjudant Pierre Morel," he says, as he shakes Olivia's hand. Out of another door steps a police gendarme. "This is Benoit," he indicates the gendarme. "You found a body, madame?" "I did," says Poppy. "We were out having a picnic, and we were walking back when we saw him. We know him. He's Alec Marlowe. His wife and kids are in one of the holiday apartments over there." "Let me have a look at the body first," he says, and he jumps down into the ditch. Then after a moment steps back up. "I'll call the public prosecutor, madame. They can mobilize a captain, a detective, and a médecin légiste." "That's the medical examiner," Olivia says to Poppy, who'll manage the forensics team. "We'll have to wait until the captain arrives to find out how the man died," he says. "He was strangled," says Olivia. "Possibly it was the leg wound that killed him there." Morel frowns at her. "I'm a lawyer, Adjudant Morel. Poppy and I investigate in the UK. Can we help you by talking to the family? We may get some useful information for you to brief the captain when they get here. Always helps to impress the regional crime team, don't you think?" He squints slightly. Let me make the call. He walks away, and they can see him talking on the phone for a minute, before he returns to them. Go ahead and talk to the family, says Morel. We may not use the information, though, madam. Understood, says Olivia. Olivia and Poppy make their way back to the old Vineyard buildings. I'll go and talk to Emma, says Olivia. You go back to our apartment for the moment, and wait until I've done that. Olivia calls Emma and asks the woman to meet. After an hour of conversation, tears and anger, Emma comes out of the other side of the shock, and the widow goes to her children and talks quietly to them, before another wave of emotion crashes through the family. It's dawn by the time the Marlowe family is anywhere close to calm again, and reds and oranges wash out from above the horizon across the fields. Olivia and Poppy have showers and get dressed, and as Olivia is standing out in the chill of the morning air, a small white van rumbles up the long driveway with fresh croissants that they ordered to be delivered every day. She calls the other parents to join her for breakfast in her kitchen, and Poppy takes half the croissant to seek out the teenagers. The blonde-haired mother, Laura, is the first to appear, and Olivia explains what has happened in the 5 minutes before the dark-haired and widowed Emma arrives. Laura looks uncomfortable before she says, I need to tell you something, Emma. And the woman looks at her. Alec and I were together. Emma doesn't react. I'm sorry. Did you kill him? Says Emma. Laura screws up her face. No, of course not. I loved him. A razor-thin slice of silence cuts down into the room. How long? Do you really? How long? 3 years. Does Robin know? I have no idea. Hardly relevant now. Now he's dead, you mean? Says Emma. God, you're callous. She moves quickly across the 4 feet between them and slaps Laura on the cheek. That's not going to help, says Olivia. And Emma hurries to the back door, and they can see her outside the window, standing on the flat land beyond the apartment to get some fresh air. Tell me about you and Alec, says Olivia to Laura. Robin bores me. Has done for years. Alec was creative, exciting, adventurous. I need something more. How was it going with Alec? Says Olivia. Did you both contrive to get invited for this week on holiday? No, that was all Emma. She organised everything. We socialised with the Marlowes a lot. It was just a natural choice because we both know you and each other. Did Alec have enemies? Says Olivia. People he'd rubbed up the wrong way? Laura shakes her head. He was good with people. It came with the territory of theatre design. He used to say he got his work through people liking him, not through his talent. He was worried about lack of work, Emma told me, says Olivia. That was a lie to cover up the time he and I spent together. Outside, Poppy calls Neve on her mobile to meet up for food, but the girl says she just wants to sleep. The fair-haired father and son, Robin and Ben Percy, appear around the corner of the wall. Do you want a croissant? She says to them. They accept, then they all walk out and sit against the ancient brick wall around the vineyard and watch the police 50 yards away as they work around the crime scene. I didn't really know Alec Marlowe, she says. What was he like? A good man, says Robin. We liked him. Laura liked his company. Ben looks at Poppy, and she wonders if he's going to say anything as he chews. A tragedy, continues Robin. These things happen, I suppose. Out here, though, where you'd least expect it. Poppy can see Ben's mind grappling with the right words to use. Dad? Robin looks at his son. Mum was sleeping with him. What are you talking about? Says Robin. You know, fucking him, Dad, says Ben. Language, boy. Just making myself clear. Just talking. Like you never do. What's got into you? Says his father. My mum's killed her lover on our holiday. That's what's got into me. Ben continues to eat the croissant, and Robin is lost for words. How long have you known that? Says Poppy to Ben. A year, he says. I came back from staying with mates overnight. Last summer, you know, the one between school and uni. And she and Alec were on the sofa. He turns to his father. You were at work, Dad, with your laboratory experiments. You don't really think she killed him, do you? Says Poppy. She wanted it to stop, says Ben. How do you know? I'm not stupid. My parents think I don't notice because I'm geeky. But I watch them. I can tell when she's happy or sad or angry. Did she say anything to you? Says Poppy. Of course not. Parents believe their own lies, don't they? They're lying to themselves too, pretending what they do can be justified, while telling their kids off for the same behaviour. Ben looks at his father, and the father says, She couldn't strangle someone like that. Your mother's a pacifist. Olivia steps out of the kitchen door and stands next to Emma as they look at the view. I suppose I knew about them, says Emma, keeping her eyes on a rise in the land 2 miles away, and chose not to see the evidence of my own eyes. It's not your fault, says Olivia. She was always complaining about her husband. I should have put 2 and 2 together. Let me change the subject, says Olivia. If you're feeling up to it, I'd like to talk about Alec. Go on, I'm fine. Did he have enemies? Says Olivia. Plenty. He annoyed people. That's why he got no work. Emma looks at her and smiles very slightly. What do you think happened last night? Says Olivia. Bonnie would be my guess. They had an argument. Alec fought back. Bonnie wielded some farm tool and nearly sliced Alec's leg off. I don't trust Bonnie. And yet you arranged a holiday here for us all, in the properties owned by a man you don't trust. Why would you do that? Alec liked it here. He always said that if he could choose somewhere to die, it would be here, overlooking the fields and the grapes. Look, I need to go and get freshened up. Emma turns back inside. Laura is still in the kitchen, and the 2 women pass each other without words, or even a meeting of their gaze. As Emma slams out of the apartment, Poppy is just arriving, and she finds her mother outside. Did the children reveal anything in your conversations? Says Olivia. I haven't talked to the Marlowe kids, but I did talk to Ben and his dad. Something weird. Robin, Percy, knew that Alex was strangled. You didn't tell anyone what the injuries were, did you, Mum? No, and I have a matching piece of evidence too. Emma knew that Alec had a major leg wound. The mother and daughter look at each other. They could have gone down and had a look at the body, says Poppy. They had no opportunity to do that, says Olivia. We were there until the police arrived, and then the gendarme cordoned it off. The husband and wife of the couple who were both being 2-timed, says Poppy. That's a motive. It is. Shall we talk to them together? Olivia and Poppy walk round to the square inside the buildings. The 2 Marlowe children are there, near the chateau, and Poppy runs over to them. Sorry about your dad, she says. I don't want to bother you now, but do you know where your mum is? In her apartment, says Neve. She chucked us out because she wanted to talk to Robin in there. Poppy returns to her mother and reiterates the information. Let's go around the outside and see if we can witness their conversation, Poppy, says Olivia. And they go out of the square and around to the outside of the Vineyard buildings to a section of the old walls that are now the Marlowe's apartment. Olivia grasps the kitchen door handle and pushes it down. Then she and Poppy slip inside. There are voices coming from the lounge. "How long before the police lets us go?" says Robin. "No idea," says Emma. "How you coping? You're a widow now." "He deserved it," she says. "Will Bonnet talk, do you think?" "No, we gave him enough, 20 grand. He's got no costs. He owns this place outright. He can live like a lord from now on. He's used to his little fiddles of the system, like smuggling gin and all sorts. No, he'll keep quiet. He doesn't want the police poking their noses into his life." "Did he suffer, do you think?" says Robin. "Why do you care? He screwed your wife. We took his life. Seems fair." Olivia steps round the doorframe, holding up her phone, for them to see the audio recorder app that has captured their words. "Surprise," she says. The Street Files, a complete mystery short story, every Wednesday.